order. Does anybody have anything they want to bring up? At all? Yes, no, maybe? Colton, anything? You got a problem with bright white lights?
No. I mean, I do, but I'll let it go.
Okay, so since there is nothing from the homeowners, we're gonna go ahead and adjourn.
No one online?
Nope. At 6:31. And we're gonna call the regular meeting to order at 6:31. Okay, so roll call. My name is Judy, I'm the president.
I'm Fred, I'm the vice president.
And we have quorum. So there's that. Is there anything that we need to add or take away from the agenda? We'll discuss that under landscaping.
Okay.
So we'll go ahead and, we're not gonna add anything new to the agenda. Review and approval of previous meeting minutes. Did you already read those?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you good with them? Yes?
Yes. Food meeting,
Okay, so I move to approve the
Second.
agenda, or the meeting minutes. Okay, all in favor? Aye. Okay, financial statement review. So right now we have $33,000, $765.93 left in our operating budget for the remainder of the year. Our maintenance reserve balance is $114,879.87. This month we received $3,219.06. And we spent $15,000, so there's a negative net operating income, but that's because the dues come in twice a year instead of every month, so it's not constant. We only had a couple of things that were kind of note. One of which was upgrading the 199th Street gate phone system and replacing the arms so that way we could have it match the one on 200th Street. So we did that, and then the ponds.
Put in the bowlers and put in.
Oh yeah, then we put in the bollards at 199th, and then
We did the ponds.
we did the ponds. We did the retention pond cleanup.
Did you put that in there?
What's that?
To help prepare it?
I have monthly service retention pond cleanup. That might have gone into.
325.
Was that in November?
No, it was just that.
Okay, yeah, so it's not in this one then.
Okay.
Okay. So, the delinquencies, we actually have less than we did last month, which is a good thing. But there's still quite a few. There's still over 100 people who are in arrears on their dues. So hopefully we can get that fixed as we go along. It's getting better each month, but not fast enough for me. So there's that. And then the total debt is still like $85,000-ish. I don't have the actual full report with me right now, but like I said, it's getting better every month, so we're working on it. Management notes, we don't have anything because management's not here. Committee reports, ACC, I have a couple of appointments that I wanted to make to the ACC committee. One is May Keffer. She contacted us through Becky. So, and then the other one is Vivian Deloach.
For who? AC?
ACC, yeah.
Who is it?
May
May?
Keffer, Keffer. And then Vivian Deloach, which is DeLoach.
Members in good standing?
Yes. Yeah,
DEL.
DELOACH. Yeah. So I'm going to move that we appoint those two, neighbors to that committee.
Agree.
Okay, all in favor? Okay. All right, landscaping committee.
That's me
That is you.
now. And then what's the end of
No, but do you have a report?
it?
Do you have a report?
Yeah, for November is, this landscaping and maintenance really.
Okay,
We extended Mackmore's mowing landscaping for a year
okay,
while we work on the scope. We said, like you said, we did the upgrades to the 199 gate with the boulders.
yeah, we had talked about that during the last
And,
meeting, so.
And also to let you know that we fixed the hill. I
Okay.
don't know if any of you ever noticed the hill on the second part. We had a huge crevasse growing. We got that filled in for a fairly good price. So when the snow comes, the kids won't be breaking arms or adults because the adults have fun on the hill too. So
Okay.
that was our big concern there. Parks are in good shape. The irrigation was shut down for the winter.
Okay.
And right now landscape is working on getting ready for next year. And they'll be off for, after tomorrow, we won't see them again until January because they let their whole crew have the rest of the month off for vacation.
Okay. And then did you wanna talk about the gates and the cell phone?
Yeah, we got a price from our company for $27.38, something like that. And what that does, it'll give us cell phone, it'll get rid of our landline and give a cell phone. And the reason you all may not know, it's $115 a month for the phones for both sides. But that's for basically, I don't know if you all remember, one lat means local. So we couldn't give you, like, we have a lot of people who come in and out of the community from different parts of the country and they have different phone numbers. And so we were stuck with a 253. If we go cell phone, all phone numbers are now open.
Yeah.
You'll just.
So that when they punch it in, like on the call box, they can call your cell phone instead of having to call 253.
Yeah, they call your cell phone, and if you like that person and wanna let them put in, you can push 9 and let them in. Or you just hang up on them and the gates won't open.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
So, we wanna do that as a 3-year payback. What we'll save in landline bills for the cell phone. And the cell phones are contingent on how much they're used, and from what I've seen over the last year, not a lot of people really stop and use the box, so.
Yeah.
So we should be in the lower tiers. And we also pay Guardian to monitor and take care of the machine. That way, it's not on Great West or Becky to learn it. So if we decided to go with somebody different, we still have them running and operating it.
Okay.
It's cheaper in the long run than retraining another group. And it sets us up for whatever comes in the future, so we don't know what's coming. And my fear is that most companies now are taking back their landlines. And so, we'd be forced into it at some point. So I'd like to get approval from that.
Okay, well, I'll move to approve that. Guessing you're in a second.
So
All right, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
you just have to let Becky know.
Okay. So. Okay. All right, is that it?
We had some issues where people were storing stuff on their driveways. That's been people were nice and remedied that situation.
Okay,
That basically come under landscape and AC&C.
okay,
So that's good. And the guy moved his ladder finally.
okay,
That was nice. And most people are taking good care of they're starting to. And it came to what I talked to you about before, that we tell everybody every quarter what, probably should be doing with their lawn, and give you a heads up like it's time to do your moss
mhm,
control
yeah,
and stuff, so everybody knows, because not everybody knows when
I'm
to
from
do it.
Arizona, so we grew up with just rock.
Yeah.
Our landscape.
I guess in California it's the same way, yeah.
Yeah, we can't let you rock the whole front yard. You can use synthetic grass if you want, but that's expensive.
Mhm,
Some people have asked about that, so just to let you know,
yeah,
it's a little more involved than they realize. You just can't run down to Home Depot and buy some roll-out green, that doesn't work that way.
yeah.
That'd be helpful.
Yeah, well, and especially for people that are from the south like you and, things like that, because you guys don't know, so. So it helps if somebody tell us, what's supposed to happen.
Well, we follow with our landscapers, and I have an extensive list on what each month should be.
Okay,
Okay.
And if we put out something, it gives you a heads up, like it's time to buy seed,
Yeah.
maybe aerate your lawn, chemical work and stuff like that. I know most people don't want to full of chemicals.
yeah,
And True Green, I got a number for True Green guy.
yeah, True Green actually does a really good job, they did our lawn in our old
Yeah, they're
communities.
like $49 a quarter, they only come 4 times a year.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
it's what you want. And just to recall, you're responsible for the street tree in your yard.
yeah,
We're not. The only thing I do is kind of want to make sure 8 feet. If you got a branch hanging over, it's got to be at least 8 feet to
yeah,
accommodate the tallest feet tall.
yeah. So people
Ours
can
are
walk,
baby trees.
what's that?
Are you talking about our trees in our yard?
Yeah, cause, well, as they get bigger, they're gonna start becoming a problem, like they'll start hanging out over the sidewalk, and they have to be at least 8 feet up above the sidewalk for
I have to be
ACC
able to walk
requirements.
under them.
Yeah, so that way nobody has to walk into the street to go
Yeah.
around it, like that kind of thing, so, that's a Pierce County ordinance that we
That
have to
makes
follow.
And if you want to remove a tree anywhere on your property, you have to go
Okay,
to the county arborist to remove a tree.
Yep,
Oh, wow.
And it has to be approved.
yeah. They're really big on conservation in this state, so.
Well, they're trying to we did so much taking trees away over the last 50, 60 years.
Yeah,
They're trying to bring the green cover back.
yeah,
So they put that stipulation.
awesome.
And you need to root it, once a year, drive a root stake in there to feed it some nitrogen.
Mhm.
They sell them in Home Depot.
All right, so is that it for landscaping? We got more.
We're good. So
Okay.
we're good.
All right, the parking committee has been,
So,
I guess their duties have been suspended for the time being. Right now, it's just myself and Tabitha on the committee, but we are working on new rules and regulations to, hopefully make the parking situation better. We'll see what we can do. So, and I know that you're concerned about, the one side street parking, so.
Especially since both of you are on the same side, so I feel like
Yeah.
that gives me a disadvantage.
Yeah, so, we're looking into things that we can do to try to,
It's so
the
hard.
CCNRs are clear that you have to park in your garage or driveway first before you can park on the street,
Well, not a lot
so,
of people are doing that.
yeah,
There's driveways completely.
yeah, exactly, so that's why we're gonna figure something out. to
Well,
be able to do it.
if you see someone like park up on the sidewalk, just ask them, please.
Yeah,
Say, do you want me
It's
to
just
come?
hard because our house is so close to our neighbor on the left, and they park right there, it's hard to.
We are
Yeah.
on that, but people tend to park up on the sidewalk thinking it's widening the road,
yeah,
but you're creating damage on the sidewalk.
yeah, so,
And we have to pay for that.
yeah,
And it's $1,500 for 10 feet.
yeah,
That's a lot of money. And we've got some places, on the first street, we have a broken, handicap access point there. I have no idea what they'll charge for that, because it's a multiple piece.
yeah, yeah,
That's
but,
what people parking on it?
yeah, they're parking like up on the sidewalk,
They park
because
everywhere.
the curb isn't like a straight curb, it's, kind of sloped. So they think it's okay to park up on the sidewalk, but sidewalks are made for people to walk on, not park on. And then you can crack the sidewalk if
Plus
people do
it's
that,
an
so.
ADA violation,
Yeah, because,
because we do have a person that uses a motorized
wheelchair,
wheelchair.
yeah, so,
And if they have to go out in the street, we're creating a danger.
yeah. But for right now, we're not really doing anything with it until rules and regulations
Yeah,
are,
can we upgrade?
yeah. So we'll go ahead and bypass that. Communications committee, we are Facebook living this meeting right now. Super exciting. So, we're working on different things to get like newsletters out. Like we're gonna be working on, like using MailChimp maybe and seeing if that's a little bit more effective than Appfolio is, because I know that quite a few people have not been getting, emails through Appfolio. So, so if we can do MailChimp for the next newsletter, we're gonna try that, and then, you know, maybe come up with like monthly content that we can send out, you know, like, like the lawn care stuff and, you know, like home maintenance things, you know, stuff like that, so you know what to do to keep your house looking good.
And one of the other things, though, is that we do need the credentials for the Gmail account that was created for the HOA
Yes.
to register the MailChimp account and any other accounts that we need to create
Yeah,
for
so
the
I'll get-
communications committee. So we do need that.
Yeah, I'll get back in touch with Tabitha again and try to get that. I have that on my list of things to do.
I think the Facebook page has been good.
Oh, you like it?
I
Okay,
like
good,
it.
yeah, yeah. That's, well, I figure that's the easiest way to get in touch with everybody, so,
We do that quarterly, too.
And you can
Yeah.
just mark to get notifications too.
Yeah,
So
which is
you have
nice.
it marked to always get them.
Yeah.
When you post.
oh, that's good. Okay, yeah, so,
Maybe we should let people know
yeah.
that there's that option. And
Well, I'm pretty sure that if I ask Gina and Jenny, I'm pretty sure they'll let me just put something like that in there. you
Yeah,
know, like-
it seems like something you would know, but some people don't.
Yeah, so, yeah, I can do something with that, so, but yeah, there's really not a whole lot else going on right now. Like in the new year, I'd like to, see if we can't get a website, like a public facing website set up, so that way, we can't hear from anybody, they can't get to the CCNRs or the bylaws or any of that kind of stuff, because it'll be public facing and everybody can access them, so. That way too, if somebody's buying a house in the community and they, you know, this gives them a lengthy time period to look at the CCNRs to decide if this is what they want to buy into or not. We can also have the rules and regulations up there, the bylaws up there, meeting minutes, financials, like everything, so.
So you know what you're buying into.
But it is going to cost more money to do that because we need to pay for domain fees and for, web hosting fees and stuff like that, so. So we're gonna have to wait and see how much, different hosting sites cost and, you know, whether we wanna go with Squarespace or like WordPress or, you know, like there's all kinds of different hosting, places that we can use, so. So we're gonna look at doing that in the new year, but other than that, I mean, we're just gonna keep communicating the way we're communicating. If anybody needs to get a hold of us, they can get on the Facebook page to do that, or, they're welcome to email me directly, or, you know, Becky's got all of our information, you can email Becky and she's been told to make sure she responds to everybody, so she's doing that. But yeah, that's about it for that. And then, next is social committee, and Alyssa is volunteering to be on the social committee. She is in good standing, so I'm going to move to appoint Alyssa, yeah, Alyssa, Shelley, Shelley. And Vivian Deloach also wanted to be on the social committee, so we're going to appoint both of those ladies. So I move to appoint Alyssa and Vivian to the social committee. All in favor? Aye. So that's done. We're not doing anything yet, but we'll, I'll be in touch
I'm
soon.
thinking about things, so.
Okay, that's good,
I'm
yeah.
like in the background.
Okay, so we'll start thinking of stuff that we can do to kind of bring the community together,
Yeah.
because I think community engagement, it's only gonna be a good thing for us. Only positive things will happen with that, so that's good. And then for the ad hoc rules and regulations committee, we approved the charter last month, and I did add the in good standing part on here.
Yeah.
So we need to sign this. I'll read it too. And then Colton expressed interest in joining on the rules and regulations committee. Are you still interested in doing that? Okay, so we're going to appoint Colton Howell. He is in good standing. Huh? What are you doing? Ad hoc rules and regulations So I'm gonna move to appoint Colton to the Rules and Regulations Committee. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay. And then, we are going to be meeting in the new year because it's Christmas time and everybody's busy doing other things right now, so. Okay, so, moving on to unfinished business.
Who's on this one? Is that correct?
Yes, Zach and myself and Tabitha. This is Kolten.
Oh.
Owen.
And those are you all on that committee?
Kolton. I did write it down the right way online. I'm sorry, what?
That's, you guys are all on the rules and regulations.
Yeah.
You, Zach, and Tabitha.
And
you're
Colton now.
Colton?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Colton's that,
All right. And we are required by law, just so you know, everybody knows, that the rules and regulations are not to add to the CCNRs, like the CCNRs are already set. So what we are doing is just clarifying things that are already in the CCNRs, and we cannot put anything in there that would be unreasonable, you know, so we can't say, Colton, that everybody has to have warm white lights in front of their house or anything like that. It doesn't make any sense to do that. So we have to be reasonable in our definitions and everything. So, but once we come up with a draft, we will submit it. We'll submit it to the board. You know, so I'm not going to be the chair of the committee because I'm the board member representative. But we'll submit it to the board. The board will look it over, decide if they want to change anything or not, and then once we decide to adopt it, we will give. Or actually, we'll have 30 days where the homeowners can look at the draft of the rules and regulations, and you know, bring up any comments or concerns they have. I suspect there will be many. So. They can bring up any comments and concerns they have, and then from there, once we decide to adopt it, we adopt it, and we'll give everybody 30 days to get into compliance before we start really bringing down the hammer and enforcing everything. So there's also going to be a fee schedule in there. In the past year or so, there hasn't been any late fees charged on any overdue accounts. There hasn't been a really, I don't want to say reasonable, but it's been a very small amount charged for landscaping violations and things like that. So, like I've never seen it so low in an HOA. So in order to make it more serious and so people will be more willing to comply, we're going to raise the fines because.
Or at least hand them out.
Yeah, and also we took off there was a $1 postage fee that was getting charged to everybody who was having everything mailed to them. And so I went and talked to Maria a couple of weeks ago because I had the QuickBooks file for the J&M books and everything for what all homeowners had before we switched over to Great West. And I talked to her about that, and it is illegal for us to do that. We can't charge you guys for things that we're required by law to send you. So I asked her to take those off. So those should be, as of this month, they should be off of everybody's accounts and will not be charged again. So no more postage fees. Anyway, so back to unfinished business. The parking committee recommendations, it's still tabled because that's going to be handled by the Rules and Regulations Committee. And then we also needed to have, we sent out a request for proposal to various law firms because we need to have a lawyer that represents us, not Great West, that has our interest in mind. And we got 2 responses back. One was from Dilly Law and one was from Barker Martin up in Seattle. Dilly Law charges, where is it? Dilly Law charges for attorney rates between $325 to $350 per hour. And paralegal work is $185 an hour. And this is what actually really matters for us is how much they charge per hour because it's
expensive.
it gets very expensive very fast, especially if we have a lot of things that they need to review. For Barker Martin, they range from $225 an hour to $330 an hour for general counsel rates, which is pretty much all we need them for. If something happens and we end up in litigation, it can be from $225 to $480 an hour, but hopefully we'll never be in litigation, so that would be helpful. And then paralegals, they charge between $80 to $120 an hour for paralegal work. So, I have worked with Barker Martin before. I think that they're reputable in their business, they know what they're doing, and And that would be my recommendation to go forward because they're cheaper and they're also, they're a bigger law firm and they also have much more experience in HOAs. They specialize in HOAs specifically. So, so that's my recommendation. I'm gonna move that we go with Berger Martin.
So,
Okay. So,
alright.
okay. So I will get in touch with them in the next week to get this contract signed. And then, we will figure out a list of anything that we need them to look over for legal review and then move forward from there. We do have was it $3,000? $2,000 in our budget already for next year for legal services, so. But the nice thing is that since I've worked with them before, they're not gonna charge us a retainer fee, so, which is kind of nice. So it'll just be the hourly rate for whatever we need them to look at, and hopefully this is done, it just needs to be looked at by paralegals, so that way we don't have to actually get charged the attorney fees, so. So there's that, and then, next on the agenda is the J&M invoice. We talked about this at the last meeting, and I'm gonna just quickly review it so everybody knows what's going on. Basically, we terminated our contract with J&M last year at the end of, I believe the notice was sent out on September 31st, that we were going to terminate our contract with them. And they took 2 weeks between, I think they delivered everything, like everything was actually delivered to us on the 12th, like all of our records and all that kind of stuff. Per their contract, we are required to pay them their monthly management fee, which they always charged a month in arrears. So like if, for September's management fee, they would have charged in October. So they charged us for that, and for the prorated rate for the management fees for October 1st through 12th. There was an admin fee. Sometimes what happens is when people sell their houses and stuff like that, there was a transfer fee that goes to the management company, and for some reason it got paid to the HOA from the escrow, or from the title company in this one particular case, and it happened several times, like over the course of this community growing and stuff like that. Some title companies just, they submit it to the HOA instead of the management company like they're supposed to, so, excuse me, so that $60 fee is on there for that. There are a number of collection fees, on here for lots. 1,500 of which we are not going to ever be able to recoup because the people have moved already, because nothing was done on this invoice for over a year. So, but the rest of it, we should be able to apply to the homeowners accounts. They have not been applied yet, per Maria, so we're gonna make sure that these charges are applied to their accounts and they'll owe that much more. To bring up Tabitha's concern from the last meeting, her concern was that that homeowners were being charged the same collection fee more than once. There were 3 different collection fees that J&M charged. The first one was an annual collection fee that was charged every November. So if your account was 120 days past due, they would charge a $50 collection fee once a year, for every year that it was past due. And then there was a $50 collection fee charged if they had to send out a 30-day notice that they were going to file a lien on the house, because that requires work. You have to do, you have to go to the post office to send a certified mail and everything else. So, so that $50 fee was charged for that. And there was a third one that was $100 that was charged if they actually had to file a lien on the house. So, Tabitha's concern was that those $50 fees were the same thing, and they're not. So I looked over the books with Maria, and she agrees with me that everything is above board that they did, and everything looks right. None of the homeowners were ever mischarged for anything. I looked through every single homeowner account on there. It took me hours, but I looked through every single one just to make sure that there wasn't, like an outlier anywhere, and everything was charged exactly the way it should be. Even when people were first moving in and things like that, they would prorate the dues for the year. So like if they moved in March, they would only get charged for March through December, that kind of thing. So, so they actually did a really good job. And then when the contract was terminated, they were required, like via their contract, they're actually able to write a check to themselves for the amount owed, which they tried to do, and it bounced because everything was pulled out of the accounts. So we are also getting charged a $10 bank fee for a return check. So that's where we're at right now. The total amount is $6,994.28 that we owe them. And like I said, 1,500 of that we're never going to be able to recoup because those owners have moved and managed to get out of those fees because they happened to move at the right time when we were transitioning between management companies. So, but the rest of it we will be able to recoup and we will charge those to the homeowners. So,
I move we pay the bill.
okay, well, I'm gonna second that we move to pay the bill, so, let's pay it,
Okay, move on,
yep,
because legally we'd be paying and spending a whole lot more.
yeah. Yeah, cause if they sue us, it's gonna cost us a lot of money in litigation costs and everything, so.
If it was paid on time, what was the difference? Are we paying extra?
No, actually,
they're
they've
being
been very
nice.
magnanimous in not charging us extra for a late fee or anything like that, and they're also not, they didn't sue us. You know, which they were within their right to do, so, but we don't want to pay litigation costs, so, it's better just to pay it off, and like I said, there's $1,500 of it that we can't get back, but the rest of the collection charges, at least we can charge back to the homeowners that they belong to, so, so we'll be doing that. So I will contact Maria
Okay.
this week to remit that payment,
Pay the bill.
yeah. Okay, next we have bylaws amendments. There are several things in there, and I'm pretty sure that nobody's going to have a problem with this. This is all procedural. Per Maria and per the bylaws, because the bylaws actually have the vehicle within it for us to be able to amend it. We can amend the bylaws as a board vote, so it's not required to go to the homeowners, though we will make it available to everybody so they can all see it before we file it with the Secretary of State and with Pierce County. So basically, the first thing that I want to amend is the Principal Office of Association. It has an address on there for J&M, and I'd like to just take that out. It's just going to say basically where the Principal Office of the Association, or it won't have a principal office, but but like the meetings will be held at a location to be determined by the board. So,
We actually have a mailbox somewhere.
we do not. Because Great West should be handling all that. So Great West is our official address, I guess.
Management
Yeah.
company is official address.
And then I'm going to also amend the verbiage and time of the annual meeting. Our Secretary of State papers are due in October of every year. So having the election in October, or actually it's due in September every year, sorry. So having the election in October is actually after that time, so we have to refile all of our stuff with the Secretary of State to have the right members, board members on it. So I'd like to amend that verbiage to be the second week in September, or no, sorry, third week in September.
Third week.
Yeah. Because that will give the management company enough time to have all their financials ready for us and everything, and then also, that way we can vote in new members and things like that at the annual meeting, and we won't be late with our Secretary of State filing, and we'll have the right information on it every year. So we're gonna I'm gonna propose that, and then, you amend the verbiage for the place of meeting, it's still gonna be wherever the board, decides, so the board will determine that. And then, I would also like to expand the board to 5 members. During the last meeting, there is actually a line in the bylaws that says, that there will be 3 members on the board unless this line is filled in. There's like a blank line in there. So I filled that in to say 5. And we approved that at least until, pending legal review, but we don't need legal review because it says it in there that we can do it. So, so I'd like to expand the board members to 5, and then I'm going to call for a special election in January. So that way, we can get 2 more board members on the board.
Can we look at doing online voting?
We can.
Maybe.
They've done it in the past with this HOA, and it hasn't worked.
I mean,
So-
if we had a secure place where, their name, all they is only ones down as management,
Yeah.
that they can vote because.
Well, like I said, they've done that in the past, and it didn't work very well. They didn't have any more participation than we did at the last meeting.
So it's something the communication committee can look into.
Yeah, but we can look into it. I mean,
Yeah, we should, if we can get them to vote.
Yeah.
There's 223 of us, so
yeah,
people can vote, it's their, we gotta get people to be responsive.
yeah. And then, in addition to that, I would also like to amend the term limits. We will not be, because we're already on the board, we would not be subject to this, but I'd like the term limits to be 2 years. So basically what will happen is any new board members that are that are elected in, actually, I guess we need to have this in February because we need a month to prepare. Okay, yeah, so the special election will be in February of 2020, because we need a month to prepare for everything for it and get everything ready, because we need to mail stuff out and all that kind of stuff. But the term limits, I wanna switch that to 2 years instead of 1 year. It'll keep people on the board for a little bit longer, hopefully, and then, like, our terms will be up in October or September. I guess September, because that's where we're gonna have a meeting. But anybody who gets elected in the February board will be on the board for 2 years.
From that point.
Yeah, so their term will expire in September 2022. So, that's my plan. And then who may run for the board? Right now it says that you can have outsiders coming in. Like if we wanted to, we could hire like an outside company to come in and run the board. I don't think that that's in the best interest of the neighbors and the community. So I think that we need to limit that to people who are homeowners in the community, not residents, because we can't, I think it's better not to have renters on the board, though they are welcome to be on any committee. So, so that's what I'm gonna propose to change there. And then,
Homeowners only.
what's that?
Homeowners.
Yeah,
only.
homeowners only. In good standing. Because right now it doesn't say in good standing, so somebody could be, 5 years in arrears on their dues and still run for the board, so. And then, like I said, special election in February, so, I will make those amendments and then, bring them to I'll make those amendments and bring them to the January meeting to get signed, but I'm going to move to make all those, to make those amendments. Any second?
Second.
Okay, approve?
Approved.
All right, I approve. So, and we'll make these available to everybody as well. Okay. All right, new business, we removed the $1 postage fee for mailings. I'm going to move to suspend the current rules and regulations. There was a version that was approved in 2014. It's labeled 2013 rules and regulations, but they were approved in April of 2014. And we either need to send those rules out to all the homeowners or suspend all the rules and regulations until we can get new rules and regulations done in the committee. So, what do you think?
I think we go with the approved in 2013
You wanna go with that?
till we fix it.
Well, I mean, we would still be enforcing all of the CCNRs.
But that lets us use the rules we have in current,
Okay,
because you know how I go and tape it on somebody's car.
yeah. Well, you've been doing that with the CCNRs.
Yeah. Well, no, I just put this is from the CCNRs, this is exhibit
B, yeah.
B or C, I see. And I tape it to their car and circle what they violated.
Okay.
And we also, it says that we use rule, what is it, 46 or?
Okay, well, what I'm gonna do then is I'm gonna check, to see if the rules from last year, if they,
Did she clarify that those, try to clarify the 2014?
no,
Was there a difference?
yes.
I never saw the 2013.
That's because they were, for some reason, they were sent out. That's why I was saying that maybe we should suspend them until the rules, because I mean, it's gonna take us until March.
Yeah, we can do that, I guess we just go by the CCNR.
Yeah, so, well, and I also asked
Well,
that,
we also have to remind people too, we are a homeowners association in the county of Pierce County in the state of Washington.
yeah,
We're not a sovereign nation.
yeah.
So
So-
then what's the difference between the CCNRs and the rules and regulations? How does
The
it differ?
CCNRs are the rules that are set forth by like the ones that we have a boilerplate, right? So every development in this area, because I can tell you that the CCNRs that we have for this community is exactly the same as it was in our own community. The only difference is that there's a section there about the gates,
Okay.
and that's it. So the entire Exhibit B, where they talk about parking rules, what unsightly conditions are, that kind of stuff, like that's all in there. Now, they say these things in a very general sense, so we can narrow it down more in the rules and regulations. So if we say unsightly conditions, like one of the things they mentioned is like play equipment. So you can't have play equipment in the front yard. So So, you know,
Which
in
I agree
our,
with. I left it out for some.
no, I know, I'm not worried about yours.
She never came.
No, I was actually thinking about basketball hoops, but because basketball hoops were a big thing in our old community, they didn't like having them. I don't really care as long as they look nice, you know, as long as they're not moldy and you can still park a car in the driveway. I don't care about basketball hoops. So, but like, you know, that way we can narrow it down to those kinds of things, you know, so we can say like,
We clarify the rule. that's
yeah.
all.
Gotcha.
yeah, that's all we're doing is just clarifying it and defining things, you know, so like, you know, for trucks, like they have, like a thing in there that says that trucks, with a double rear axle cannot be parked in the community, but that's all it says. It doesn't have a gross vehicle weight, it doesn't have the length of the truck, you know, any of that kind of stuff, so we can narrow it down more to make sure that we're following all of the Pierce County ordinances and the Washington State, you know, law, RCWs, we can make sure we're following, you know, federal law for AC, or for ADA compliance, you know, for our sidewalks and stuff like that, you know, so we narrow it down a little bit more so that way it's clearer, you know, like that way you can't say, well, it just says this, you know, this can mean anything. You know, so that way we're just narrowing it down a little
We
bit.
allow commercial trucks in, but with one axle only, not the dualies in the back.
Yeah. So like you can't park a semi in our community.
Unfortunately, the
So-
person you see in the front, that's a 21,000-pound truck,
Mhm.
but our CCNRs never clarified what the weight had to be.
Yeah,
So, because we do allow the smaller vans, you know, the guys that work,
yeah, like
the
Xfinity and
painters,
AT&T,
the,
yeah.
they're perfectly fine. It wasn't
Yeah.
designed for the big, but we can't do anything, 'cause put a weight limit in.
Yep. So, but that's all it's going to be. So, but for right now, you know, I'm gonna go ahead and move that we suspend the rules and regulations and just follow the CCNRs right now, as well as we can until the rules and regulations committee is done with the new draft. You second?
So,
Approve?
approved. We don't have a choice.
Yeah,
We can equal them, we can't go above
yeah.
the state laws.
Yeah, but we can't add to the CCNRs either. We can't add new rules that will, you know, that will further restrict everything. That's not how it works. I mean, we can't do that, so.
But if you read in your CCNRs under section B and C, there's a little thing there that stipulates, we follow the state rule,
Mhm.
because it's 46 or 64, I forget which way it goes.
Yeah, it's like 64.
And it just says you can't park on sidewalks, can't park in
Yeah.
front of fire hydrant. That's what the red is. I just haven't found a cheap no parking stencil yet,
Yeah,
because some people still seem to think red means park.
yeah. So, yeah, but we'll work on that in the new year, so. And then, I don't think we have anything for executive session, do we? I don't think so.
I'm going to my mind.
No.
Out of here and there. No,
I think we're good.
yeah.
Okay. Oh, and then I also asked that Maria, because we've been told that the enforcement of the CCNRs and the rules and regulations has not been happening over the past year, so I asked Maria to start enforcing the CCNRs. In the rules and regulations, there will be a fee schedule too for, you know, for how much each violation is going to cost the homeowner and that kind of thing. And then one of the other things we were talking about too is possibly charging to use the parks, because we had somebody who had a birthday party and had what, ponies?
Said ponies in the park.
Yeah, had ponies yeah, in our
Oh my
neighborhood,
God.
which can make quite a mess, as I'm sure you can imagine.
They
And
cleaned up, but ponies' hooves can definitely tear
Yeah.
the ground.
yeah, so we need to think about
Plus, we have to have insurance on it. Somebody had a big bouncy house in the other park.
yeah,
Spanaway turned them down because they didn't have $2 million in
insurance, yeah.
So we have to decide on what we're comfortable with.
Yeah, actually Bethel School District has shut down any bouncy houses, period, no matter how much insurance they have, because
Yeah, I've
they're
seen
dangerous,
some
so,
crazy stuff happen.
so,
If you don't stake them down, they can.
yeah. So we gotta be careful with that, but yeah, so the CCNRs are going to be approved, or be enforced now, so if people start getting notices, make sure you read through the CCNRs, know what you're, you know, they should be citing it anyway, but if they're not, then let us know and we'll make sure that it's getting cited.
And per our contract with our company, I think during the summer months, they come twice.
No, they just come out once.
And during the winter, it's a little less because grass isn't growing.
Yeah,
We
but I
have-
did ask Becky to come through next month to make sure people have taken down their lights, so,
Yeah, we
because
have to
they have 30
stay up
days.
on that. We're not trying to be Grinches or anything.
Yeah, no, you have 30 days after Christmas to
And
do
if you see somebody dumping a Christmas tree in the retention ponds, let me know. I pulled out 8 this past summer.
Yeah, don't know why people thought, yeah, don't put your Christmas tree in the
Trees
retention
in
pond.
retention ponds,
Yeah.
those are legally protected and
Yeah,
there's stiff fines for that mess.
Wow,
yep, so,
that's crazy.
Alright.
I'm gonna,
yes,
I have a question about the fee structure. Is that attached to the rules and regulations?
it will be, yeah.
So I know, but I mean, are you suspending the fee structure as well when you suspend?
There was no fee structure being enforced at this juncture in time, no fee structure is being enforced, which, I think it's like $25 per violation or something like that, but
it
that's
was
gonna be suspended
25
too.
first, 25 second, 50 third.
Yeah, like nobody will get any new violations between now and when the new rules are enacted, so,
We have to come up with something a little more demonstrative there.
yeah, but I think that with,
We have to grab.
with some
people's
perseverance, we can get
attentions.
this done by March, so that way it's ready to go for the summer, because the summer months is when it really matters the most, so, but yeah. Anything else? No?
No.
All right, well, I'm going to adjourn this meeting at 7:17. Great, thank you guys.